The following program is rated MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Okay, students, this is your 5-minute warning. I repeat, 5-minute warning.
Silence. This is the 5-minute warning with Ruben Brown, happening right now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to a special 5-minute warning episode tonight. I decided that I wanted to do something a little different. Those who listen to the show regularly and to the podcast know that back in the end of February, your boy got that COVID. And I spoke a little bit about it a couple weeks throughout the show, but I wanted to take the time to basically talk more in depth about it. And I wanted to, because some people don't know people who've had COVID. Some people know people who have COVID. And some people, unfortunately, have lost people because of COVID. And there are a lot of things going around and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do is share my personal experience with it. And, hopefully that will help some of you. And possibly, hopefully you won't have to deal with it, but just so you know what is the possibility and what can experience. So what I decided to do, I decided to bring in my man, my mellow from years upon years, Marcus J., the host of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. on Legacy Internet Radio. His show's on Monday from 7 to 9:30, and you should check it out. Definitely, but I know he'll plug his own stuff as well. But what I'm doing is I asked him to basically interview me because I can sit here and ramble about it, but I know everybody got that kind of time. And for me, as you know, listening to the podcast and the show, I can kind of go off on a tangent like I'm doing right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relinquish all the power to Marcus J to start this program. And I'd like to thank everybody for listening, like always. And Marcus J, is all you, bro.
Big Rube.
Wow.
Big Rube.
Yo.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Just chilling.
It's so good to see you, man. It's so good to see you. Everybody got that friend, that brother that's emotional. And I'm that friend for you. I'm your emotional friend. So when I see you, I get excited because I miss you, man. How you doing?
Oh, man. I'm blessed, man. That's really all I can say. I'm blessed. I'm happy. I can't complain. Things are beautiful.
Yeah.
The Yankees doing work.
They won today.
Yeah.
5-2. And,
I mean,
can I let you in on a little secret that I'm sure to make you jealous?
What's up?
A week from tonight, I'm gonna be in Yankee Stadium.
Really? We got to start off this program with that?
We're doing it. That's how we're doing it. I'm gonna be in Yankee Stadium with Mama and my mama, and they play in the Red Sox.
I don't really like you right now.
I know you don't.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
We gonna do what we came here to do.
Yeah, we are. So one of the things that I want to talk about is how much I miss my brother, and just in the time that has passed with the COVID-19 situation taking over our country and just social distancing, and you living in a different town. You and I haven't had an opportunity to spend a lot of time together like we used to. We used to spend a lot of time together as brothers, as business partners, and just, we spent time together. And just in the last couple of years, we haven't. And so when I realized that you had COVID-19, by the time I realized that you had it, you had come through your challenge, the hard part. And so I was glad to hear it, but I knew that if we were in closer contact, that I probably would have known during real time. So what I want to do, and I want to share with your viewers and your listeners, and my viewers and listeners, and everyone that's listening and watching right now, I want to go to the very beginning, and I want to get to the heart of what it was you went through from, oh my God, I think I might be sick, to I'm not going to die. Because COVID-19 has taken folks through those emotions. Some folks it's taken them, not here anymore. And I'm so glad to be here and talking with you and seeing you and being able to do this show. So let's get to it. I guess the first question I have for you is the very beginning. What did you know about COVID-19 long before you contracted it? Obviously, my guess is you knew what the average person knows, but I'm going to talk to you like I haven't been on Earth for the last couple of years, and you're going to be the one that's going to be educating me about COVID-19. That's what we're going to do tonight.
All right.
Let's go to the very beginning. And what did you know about COVID before you contracted it?
Well, as you know, March we all went down. I mean, they shut us down pretty much as best as possible, except for the great souls in some jobs that unfortunately had to work. But when it's all said and done, we're blessed that they could work. Um, you're right. I knew just as much as the average person, but I had been paying attention. You know, I knew that you can get it obviously through the air. I knew that it affects your respiratory system. It affects other parts of your body as well. And I did know that because I am a type 2 diabetic, I was susceptible to going the opposite way if I were to catch COVID. So for me, off jump, they were just like, put on a mask. I think I cut up some of my old T-shirts, cut the sleeve off. I'm rocking that mask in Walmart and stuff, and as best I could at the time. Work had pretty much said stay at home, and we were able with my job. I'm able to work remotely, so that was good. And then they had us doing other things as well. So I was also blessed not to unfortunately lose my job. However, I spent a lot of time by myself. I mean, not like it's. I mean, I live by myself, so I spend a lot of time by myself. But I spend a lot of time in my four walls by myself. So with that, I had to, the whole mental stuff you had to kind of get over and go through. But I mean, I got outside. I walked every morning. I just made sure that I left the four walls at least once a day. I made sure I went to Walmart get groceries on Sundays, and that's kind of how I did, man. And I did work throughout the week and all that. But yeah, as far as knowing what I knew as much as the average person did. But I felt like I protected myself very well, throughout the time and even up to when I caught COVID. So that's definitely, I don't feel that I was negligent by any means, you know. And once we get a little deeper in the story, you're going to flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Were you scared, like going through what you just said and how you were moving? I mean, you were moving, it sounds to me, to be prudent, and prudency is key. I can dig it because I move prudent.
Yeah.
Were you scared?
I don't know if I was scared. I was cautious. Definitely cautious. Well, because pretty much once I found out that, hey, those people with type 2 diabetes, those people with regular diabetes, if you're overweight, if you have respiratory issues already, I mean, really, I checked a couple of those boxes and I was just like, yeah, I don't really need y'all around me. And so for me, like I said, unfortunately, I'm single, but at that point in time, it probably wasn't a bad thing for me to be single because that means I had to really be around people and I'd have somebody accidentally bring it to me and
Right.
stuff like that. And so, I mean, but like you said, I moved very cautiously, very prudent, everything I did, I didn't leave the house because, I wanted to go leave the house. I left the house for a reason, came back and, I opened my windows and got to look outside and see the sunlight. And I was good with that.
Right. 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 I can dig it. As you progress through the time. So what are we in? We in March.
Mhm.
So as we move through the next couple of months, first of all, what month did you contract it? And I'm asking for a reason because I'm going to backtrack after this month. I just need to know what month you contracted
I contracted it late February of this year.
of 2021
Yeah, so I went through almost a whole year.
before you got it.
Yeah.
Before you got it. Okay. So let's go back. It's March. It's the spring and summer of 2020. Are you moving kind of the same way as you described? You still in that space of, you working your week from home and then you going to Walmart on the weekend if you need to, kind of avoiding people, that sort of thing. You're doing that through all or most of 2020?
Well, I did that up until May. We went back to work a little bit, but the place that I work for sent us, they sent us masks, they sent us all, the cleaning solution, like they sent us a whole bunch of stuff. So pretty much, gloves, sanitizer. So like when it's all said and done, I didn't need to breathe somebody's air. I did not need to touch something if I didn't have to, that sort of thing. So they protected us pretty well. And it was good because that was 2 months. It was May. I was ready to not be in the house anymore.
Right.
But you do what you gotta do. I mean,
Right.
in some locations where I visited, I mean, there were times where like, I couldn't even go in. Oh, we heard somebody caught COVID. Oh, yep. See you later. I'm out. We can
Right.
talk on the phone.
Right.
We did I did some visits via FaceTime, stuff like that. So, you know, I moved as cautious as I could, but it was good to be out, and it wasn't a lot of other people out, so it was even, the tunnel didn't back up and all that beautiful stuff. So,
Right.
not gonna lie, it was kind of sad when everybody went back to work in about August and September because, you know,
Traffic came.
yeah,
Yeah.
the streets were live again, and I was like,
Yeah, the block got hot. So as you began to move, you got more comfortable.
yeah, but I mean, I'm comfortable, but I'm masking. I mask everywhere. If I leave my four walls, I got a mask on. I had sanitizer in my car. I had gloves in my car. Like it didn't even matter. Even when I went to Walmart, I had the mask. I had a decent mask. It wasn't my T-shirt anymore. It was an actual mask, and it was beautiful. And you know, and I used to side eye people who didn't have masks on because
That was my next question. I was literally like chomping at the bit to ask you that as you were going through this. So now we're still in 2020, and this is when wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. That messaging was beginning to get its steam,
yeah,
right? And so when we go places, that's what we're thinking in our mind. We got a mask on, and we're looking at people under our mask. They can't see us, but we making this face.
bruh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it the face you were making?
Oh, easy,
Yeah,
easy. I
yeah,
mean, and then the crazy part is some people looked at me because I had a mask on. I was like, really? That's what we're doing? Yeah, something wrong with you.
yeah.
But
Well, they still doing that now. As you move through that space,
hmm
you're feeling comfortable. You're feeling like, hey, you know, I'm distancing. I can't
oh yeah,
stay locked up in my house, but I got to get out a little bit. And as I'm getting out a little bit, I'm moving in a safe way. You feeling confident about that in this time?
yeah, and I'm still in touch with the folks and stuff like that, and my brothers, and so I'm in touch with the family, and I mean, it's one of those things where like I did go see mom and dad throughout the summer, and I not a lot, but like once or twice, but we were outside, um, and stuff like that, and it was one of just it was those things where we just like if I felt a certain way, I ain't go visit. Not that I had it, but once again I have both my parents and they're in their 70s, man. The last thing I want to do is to bring some stuff into their house, because that shit ain't cool.
Right, right,
So, we were all of us, the family was very cautious, and we did our things. And, we did spend Thanksgiving and Christmas together. But, it was also one of those things where, hey, you good. If you ain't good, it's cool. if you don't feel whatever, it's good. But once again, we still did our social distancing and stuff, and you know, but that was probably the biggest thing. It was like we didn't want to bring it up into the house that that
But
the house that we did.
you trusted your family to make prudent decisions
Well,
with
of
each other.
course,
Yeah.
yeah, because one thing is my older brother. He still had, my older brother has five kids, and one was still living with him. So that's a thing. And my younger brother has had a 6-year-old. So that's a thing. So I
Right.
mean, I felt very confident as long as it wasn't me. If I was prudent and diligent, I knew they were going to be.
Right.
So, you
Right.
know, that
Right.
sort of thing. So I wasn't worried. And then mom honestly didn't leave the house for like 8 months, man. Like she
Really.
walked outside and she went and got the mail. But she
Yeah.
was like, yeah, because dad went out and did everything, and you know, dad's former military, so he's master. He ain't playing with these people
Yeah.
and stuff like that. He went out and they. I mean, come on, man. Parents got the freezer in their room full of food. I mean, they ain't had to go out for much, and stuff like that. But when they went out, he went out. She was like, I ain't going out. I ain't got no reason to be there. I
Right.
mean, they're both retired, so it's like they go out because they have to, not because they want to.
No, no, I can dig it. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk with you tonight on the 5 minute warning here, Big Rube Show. Marcus J here, have an opportunity to speak with you as we progress towards the next phase in your journey. I want to talk to you a little bit as we move through. You mentioned how you had an opportunity to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with your family. We're getting close to the time now in the beginning part of 2021 where the vaccines are beginning to become available for different people in different situations. You mentioned certain things that are part of your biography with regards to your type 2 diabetes and other things. Uh, my recollection for that time, there are some folks that were becoming available for the eligible rather for the vaccine before others were. So
Hmm.
my first question was, did you become eligible for the vaccine earlier than others? And the second question, follow up to that, is, did you get it?
Yes, I did. Um, However, I was also, because the line was
Yes, you did.
pretty much
What?
like I
Which
became
question?
I became available before most people,
You became
but not
eligible.
before older people. It was
Okay.
older people than people at risk, and people at risk didn't really become available. I mean, I think part of it was depending on your risk. But I was unable to get it until the end of March.
Okay.
Um, and then I got my shots, man, without question. I didn't waste time. You know,
Okay. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your contraction. Uh, what month did you get? What month did you contract COVID
End of February, the last 2 weeks of February,
of 2021?
2021. Yep,
So you mentioned just a minute ago that you weren't eligible for the vaccine until March.
correct,
Okay, so you got it before you can even get the shot for it. Okay,
correct.
we'll come back to that. So
Okay.
we're gonna put our thumb on that. We'll come back to that. So talk to me about how you think you got it. Well, let me back up. Let me ask a question. Do you know how you got it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about that. So take me to the very beginning, starting with that day, what you did, and take us to your contraction.
So here's always the fun part. You know me, and a lot of other people who listen to this know me. You know, when your boy gets sick, he go to the hospital. Like I'm in the hospital. The last time I really got sick or hurt was about 4 years prior, and that's when something happened to my knee, and I was in the hospital for like 4 days. Because I don't really go down like that, and I mean I'm knocking on all the wood I can find. I don't go down like that. Um, so what happened was I decided to. This is how I think it all happened. I got food poisoning, and I was literally out of down and not able to work for like 3 days. And the third day, I was like, I'm weak. I couldn't really do anything. I know I need fluids because Because when you get food poisoning, you're pooping, you're peeing, and stuff is coming out of places that it shouldn't. And not trying to be too graphic, but everybody knows what happens when you get food poisoning, you know? So it's coming out of almost every hole. So I knew that I needed more fluids. I couldn't drink enough water. I couldn't drink enough Pedialyte. I just knew. So I went to the hospital on a Friday. And of course, they test you, make sure, you're breathing right and everything's good. I'm good on Friday. I go and I'm there for like 4 or 5 hours. They give me like two um two things of saline. You know, I'm injected. I pretty much was like, yeah, my fluids are low. I can't recover because they're too low. So literally, I'm laying on a bed for probably about 2 or 3 hours, just taking saline, you know, or whatever it is, water, whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. So to get myself kind of refueled. So I leave. I go get something to eat. I go home. Saturday, I went from the bed. I went from the bed to the couch and to the bathroom. Those are 3 places I were at all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Sunday, I was like, I need to go back to the hospital. You know, I'm not feeling good. I'm kind of having problems breathing, that sort of thing. Monday, I go to the hospital about 4 o'clock. Yeah,
AM or PM?
PM.
Okay.
I tried to make it, but because I hate doctors and I hate the hospital. Two things I hate. Probably I don't know if it's just because it's Ruben or it's because I'm a black man. I don't know. I hear a lot of things. Can't stand either one. So I go there about 4 p.m. There's nobody there. Awesome. Get checked out. They're checking me out. Not admitting me, but just kind of doing the stuff. And they put the thing on my finger to test my oxygen. And the guy looks. I pick up on that. What's going on? Well, it looks like you're about 80%. 80% of what? Your oxygen intake is about 80%. Great. So of course, I'm doing chest x-rays. They're doing some other things, whatever. And there's like, we're gonna put you in this room. And the last time I was in a room, an emergency room, I was there for 4 days. I already knew what was up. So after kind of people coming in and out, doctor comes in. He's like, we set your blood off. We'll know tomorrow. But I looked at your chest. I mean, it's pretty solid. It looks like you probably got COVID-19. Now it's just like, what? And he's like, yeah, because I was like, I just did a chest x-ray on Friday. He's like, yeah, I looked at that. And you were good Friday. And you're not good now. And he looked at me. He's like, you probably got it from here. And I was like, get out of here. He's like, look.
That to you?
Yes. He's like, look, as much as we try to clean everything, we can't clean everything. You probably got it when you came to the hospital. And I mean, these people were cleaning everything. Like, people get out their seats and go, and they come and clean the seats. So, like, they were literally cleaning everything. And he was like, it's just impossible for us to do it. You probably caught it from here, to be honest with you. And I was just like, okay. So he's like, we're going to admit you. And I looked at him. I was like, do what you need to do.
Yeah, save me.
Yeah. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah.
At that point in time.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah. At that point in time, he after he said he was going to admit me, the nurse comes in, throws on the little oxygen joints in my nose around. Your boy's on oxygen for 4.5 days. Straight. They were just like, yeah, your breathing is not where it should be. So we're going to get you straightened out. And then he's like, yeah, and your sugars are high because we know you're a type 2 diabetic. I was like, in my head, I went, damn. I didn't forget about it, but Yo, man, when you're not taking care of yourself properly on the diabetes tip, that shit pops up and flares when you don't want it to,
Yeah.
which is right then.
Right.
Because, like, literally, so what happens is, for those who don't have diabetes, don't ever get it. That shit sucks. But um, if your sugar's over a certain level, it doesn't even matter if they cure you for COVID or cure you for anything. You can't leave until your sugars get down to an acceptable level.
Right.
So they admit me. But I was like, I haven't eaten anything since like Friday night. Because every time I ate something, it came back out. So they hook you up with a lean cuisine or something because I'm diabetic. So here's your 300-calorie meal. Awesome. It wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad to eat after 3 days though. Not gonna lie, and it stayed. So yeah, that's how I got into the hospital.
All right. So from the time you walked in to the time you walked out, how much time passed?
I went in on a Monday night and I left on a Thursday afternoon,
Okay, so you were there for 4 days. So
basically.
that's the 4 days that you just mentioned that you were on the oxygen.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about it. Day one, you're in there, you're like, oh my God, I'm in the hospital with COVID. You're going through the denial, probably, I would guess. Like, what are you going through on day one?
I went through the denial very quickly on when he told me, and I was like, because literally I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Literally, it all makes sense. Especially what happened to me Saturday and Sunday. So I was like, it all makes sense. So as far as denial, that I didn't stay in denial too long. My biggest denial was I hated calling my family. Like,
Until
yeah, because I just don't like that. I'm not a fan. So I knew I had to call the folks. And because I figured that I had something going on, I was at least smart enough to bring
stay away
my
from people.
charger, my cell phone and charger. Because last time I was in the hospital, I didn't bring my charger, and that sucked. My
Think about
phone died very quickly.
think about the stuff we're thinking about now, right? You had to get your charger, right?
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, if I'm hearing this timeline right, you went in to get checked out from the food poisoning on Friday,
Hmm.
and you go back home Saturday and Sunday, like really sucked for you, and then you end up checking yourself in basically, or checking yourself out rather than being checked in on Monday. So if I'm hearing you right, you didn't have a lot of interaction with anybody over the weekend. You didn't
Oh
expose
no.
anybody.
Oh no. I don't think I talked on the phone that long. I mean, because between feeling bad and sleep, I mean, and then there's really nothing on TV. So it was
Yeah,
like, nah. I
yeah.
mean,
So
that
nobody got. So the short answer is nobody got COVID from you.
no,
Okay.
no, Lord.
Okay. Okay. So day one, you go through the denial. You're admitted. Day one, I guess we have a good picture of. Day two, talk to us about day two in the hospital.
So day two and three kind of comes together because look, man, I don't know if you've never been to a hospital. First of all, it sucks. Second of all, literally, and I'm just talking crazy stuff right here. I mean, I was naked for like 3 days, man, with with cloth over me. Yeah, man. And then they put some stuff on my feet, like some socks on my feet. So literally, I was in those socks for 4 days. I was, I mean, except for the cover, whatever they call it, that
Did
you
you
put
get to
on.
take a shower?
What?
Did you get to take a shower?
No, because I'm on oxygen 24/7, and plus I have an IV strapped to me. So it's like, no, you don't take showers in the
So,
hospital.
so you naked and dirty.
Naked, disgusting. I mean, man, when you hear your farts, when you see your farts, man, you can't run away from it. You can't go to the bathroom without calling someone first.
Yeah,
I mean, because like wires everywhere and all this. Like, yo, like
it
I,
sucked.
I felt like I was 2 days old, man. Because literally, I mean, I could go to the bathroom, but I had to call first because somebody had to come and make sure that I didn't, do whatever. So, like, literally, I think the first full day I was there, I got up like twice, and then they made you urinate in this like it's a pitcher because then they had to look at how much you urinated and I guess notate it because there's like don't urinate into the toilet, urinate in this pitcher, and I'm just looking at these people. I'm like, what? That's not natural. But when you got to pee, you got to pee. It is what it is.
So obviously the visit and the stay in the hospital is miserable.
It can be, yes.
Well, just your experience sounds pretty miserable.
Well,
Talk to
go ahead.
I was gonna say, talk to me about how you're feeling. Like, obviously, you're not comfortable. That part's a no brainer. But talk to me about how you're feeling.
So the good thing is I'm eating. Like I got 3 meals a day and I got snacks. So nothing, and it's not coming back. So that's the first thing. And, I mean, they give me like like after the first morning, I get like, man, I'm taking like 8 or 9 different things, man. Like every meal, I'm taking pills. They're putting stuff in my applesauce. Like I'm drinking stuff. So like I'm on this a lot of medication every meal. They have to come and give it, and and I don't take medicine like that ever. I don't take aspirin unless I'm about to die, like in pain wise. Unless I'm crazy pain, I don't even take aspirin. So
Right.
I'm taking pills, man, like every 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, man. They check your blood pressure. I'm getting stuck every 3 hours because they gotta check my blood sugar, and it's the
It sucks.
worst. Oh yeah, man. Because I don't do that, and I hate needles.
Yeah.
So I'm already like, yeah, this shit sucks. But I will say this, and I know this is gonna be real sad, and you probably gonna laugh. Yo, man, for once, this is like the first hospital I've been in that the TV stations were decent. I mean, because you're laying in a bed, man. You can't go nowhere.
Did you
Like
have cable?
yeah, I had cable. I know, right? I had cable, and I was
You watch like Sports Center and stuff?
oh man, it was on ESPN 24/7. Between
gonna ask
ESPN,
What,
yeah,
what did you watch? You watched ESPN?
ESPN. I watched USA. I mean, the stuff that you have at your house. Like this place had it. I was in a room by myself. I got lucky. Well, they didn't put COVID people together, so
They
it is
did
what
not.
it is. They
They did
didn't.
not.
No,
Why
no,
not?
no.
What's that about? You would think they both got it. What's the difference?
Well, I guess if one person was getting it real bad, you don't want the other person to lose hope. So,
Right.
but yeah, I got my own room, which was dope. You know, it was just the problem was I was just laying there. Literally, I'm laying there on a bed with very little movement for like the first day and most of the second day. Except the only time I got up was to use the bathroom, and literally the first time I got up, they had to literally like help me to the bathroom because I hadn't walked in probably like I don't know 16 to 20 hours.
Are you scared yet?
You know, honestly I was scared for a little bit, but then I was just like, you know what? Ain't nothing I can do but keep myself in a good headspace and go through it, just like I do everything else. And the one thing I would say that the doctor told me on Monday that made me feel good, he was like, "You really have a mild case of the COVID." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You know, a lot of people who get COVID, like full blown COVID-19, like it's not just one thing. Like for me, it was literally my breathing. That was like the major thing, and then the type 2 diabetes was icing on that cake. But I mean, that wasn't COVID. That was me being a dumbass.
Right.
So he was like, yeah, most people get the breathing and all the other stuff that comes along with COVID, and then they get it as such um they get it so much worse. That's why he was like, well, you have a mild case, and honestly, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to recover. Now, I don't know if that was just lip service, but if it was really good lip service because it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, the biggest thing I had to work on was breathing. And then they brought me a little breathing thing on day 2. and I still have it. And it was like you breathe and the little thing goes up. Um, and then pretty much it's like, so, you have to get to this level. Like you have to get to 15 before we can let you go. And I was barely doing like 5, yo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so she's like, I want you to do this work on this every couple hours. And that's what I did. I mean, I blew into it. I got mad and I blew into it again and I tried to do better. I mean, so it gave me something. It also gave me something to do throughout it as well. But I mean, my hospital stay wasn't horrible. It was just, it was more annoying than anything else because you can't do for yourself.
Right.
And, I've been on this planet at that time for 47 years and I've been doing things for myself for at least 42 of it for the most part, like walking and, but I couldn't walk anywhere. Like day 3, they took me out for a walk. I thought it was awesome. I just walked around the hospital, like
Yeah.
floor, but
Right.
I was like, oh, I'm out this damn bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it, I just I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting myself in a negative headspace.
Right. Yeah. Well, that seems like that would be a big deal because we know that the power of suggestion is real, and if you
Yeah.
suggest to yourself a positive outcome, then you're more likely to have a positive outcome. But if you suggest to yourself the opposite, you're already in a negative headspace, and
Correct.
that would be prophecy coming to light. Nobody wants that. You were watching Big Rube and Marcus J. We on the 5-minute warning. We are talking today about Big Rube's COVID-19 experience. So now we're on day 3, moving into day 4. So you're getting close to going home, and a lot of folks who have COVID, whose stories we hear about, where they're admitted and that sort of thing, they end up having these long stays, and it's hit or miss, and the ones that get to go home end up having long-term issues. And I'm gonna come back to the long-term issue question because
Hmm.
I do want to know about that. But what I really want to know is what it was like for you when you woke up on day 4. Did you know when you woke up on day 4 that you were going home?
Yes, they actually wanted to kick me out day 3, but once again, good old type 2 diabetes won't ready.
Yeah.
I mean, my sugar wasn't low enough, so they kept me for another day. Partially, mostly for that, but also just to make sure that I was doing okay. I was still on oxygen, but I could go to the bathroom by myself. I could, I sat up a little bit. Yeah, I was doing things. I was I wasn't immobile like I was, 2.5 days before. So I was excited to go home. But then they was like, well, we can send you home with this. And I was like, look, if I'm not at least right enough to go home today, I'm not leaving until I'm right enough to go home. Because what I don't want to do is go home and then I'm turning around, I'm right back here. At that point in time, I got some help for the diabetes situation. Um, got some bling on my arm, so that's dope. To help me out. And when you're at a situation where you might even think like this might be it, you start doing some real thought processing. And I had my come to Jesus meeting with myself. Yo, Ruben, you've been a diabetic for 12 years, 13 years, and you're not really taking good care of yourself. What the hell? So, you
You
know,
gave yourself the business?
I gave myself the business. And so, because of that, a diabetic specialist came in and talked to me and we did, she gave me some cool stuff and all that. And so now, as far as that goes, I'm in a better positive space with my type 2 diabetes. Um, so, like, gift and a curse, it sucks to have COVID-19, but if there's a positive to come out of this, I would say that I gave myself the business to get my life back together
Yeah.
because I mean, when it's all said and done, if it wasn't COVID, it could have been diabetes. And now I'm trying to work on getting that taken care of. And, technology is a wonderful thing. and I need to start it. I need to start embracing it to help me out. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So now we're in day 4. You know you're going home. You're discharged. You get out. Uh, how you feel? Did they make you go out in the wheelchair? They let you walk out.
Nah, man, wheelchair, bro. It was wheelchair to the door, and they didn't dump me out, but it was like, yeah, it's time to go. Um, I mean, but I rode my wheelchair ride smooth, bro. I was sitting back and just like, yeah, I'll take this.
I bet
People are
you.
like walking,
I
whatever.
bet you were. I bet you. I bet you. I bet you were. So when they kick you to the curb, did you take yourself home, and did somebody come and get
No, I took myself there, so I took myself home,
you?
and that
Okay.
was honestly probably the one thing I was more worried about. I hadn't been behind the wheel of a car in 4 days. Like, it'd be different if you hadn't been behind the wheel of a car in 4 days and you were like on vacation and you arrived with something. Nah, man, you literally possibly almost died and you ain't walked for 2 of those days. Are you gonna be able to drive a car?
Right. That
And
was real anxiety for you.
it wasn't necessarily. It was probably a little bit. I'll say it's a little bit because I don't really have a lot of anxieties about stuff, other than dogs and large bodies of water. But yeah, man, it was like I got behind the wheel.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it is what it is,
You
man.
know where I went. You know where I went.
Yeah, yeah. So I got behind the wheel, and the biggest thing was I had to get myself comfortable in
Right.
my driver's seat,
Right.
and I did try to back up, and instead of pulling it down once on the reverse, I pulled down like 3 times and then went drive, and I almost ran into somebody's car. But they don't need to know that.
No. No. They have no idea it was them, even if
Not
they.
idea. And if they did, they wouldn't know because I got up out of there. But yeah, so that was probably the hard part. And just coming back to my apartment, it was good. I felt good. Then you know, then I had to go get medication. That was interesting.
When you
Be-
left your house on Friday, you didn't know that you wouldn't be back till Thursday.
Now,
No. So now that you're back home, and I don't think they would have let you go home if you still had COVID, correct? So you didn't have it anymore.
well, so technically, I had gotten better enough not to be in the hospital. I
Okay.
didn't require a respirator, so that was good. But they did send me home with an oxygen tank, and then of course I got it swapped out because I had oxygen probably for another um 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks before I felt comfortable not being on it because I
Right.
slept. Yeah, I mean because I still wasn't 100% as far as the breathing, but like I was around 92, and they were just like, okay, but you need to do this test, 3 4 times a day and stuff like that, and then you know I guess we'll get into long term stuff later or term stuff after that, but I would say the hardest part, man, was getting my breath back. I lost 25 pounds, which was kind of dope. But then the problem is your energy's different, you know? So normal things that I would even do around the house, then I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
So, I have a portable oxygen tank that's with me. And I mean, so I really was on the oxygen tank. And then, of course, that was day 4. So I still couldn't work for another till like the next week. And then me and the boss was like, we're gonna give you some more time. Um, and that was fine.
How long were you out of work?
Well, I mean, you know, I just used some vacation basically, but I from that because I was gone. I worked one day the week that I was had food poisoning, so I was literally not working for about 3 weeks.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
So basically, COVID shut you down for about 2.
yeah.
COVID shut you down. All right. So let's talk a little bit as we move to the next phase of your COVID experience. Let's talk about the time frame between, you said, the end of February. So now we're in the middle of March. So let's go
Hmm.
from the middle of March to, you said you needed oxygen for about, what did you say, about 4 weeks? So now we're at the end of that time frame. Talk to me a little bit about as you move towards I don't need oxygen anymore? What's Ruben going through at that point?
So the biggest thing for me was to get off the oxygen, because what I would not do, and this is just the pride thing. Pride is some shit, but I did not want to take a tank anywhere with me, and I had portable tanks to take with me, but I just refused that. I'm not leaving this house until I can go without taking a tank, and so I really just worked hard. Like at nighttime, you know, I slept with oxygen. I if I had oxygen around me consistently, if I felt a certain way, I put on the oxygen. I would walk and get the mail and come back, and that's kind of how I tested myself. The mailbox is probably, I don't know, 1,000 feet away. So that was my workout every day to go get the mail,
Right.
from the little box and stuff, or to go get a package from, because we have the little Amazon hub things at my apartment complex, or
Right.
to go get a package because I ordered something from Amazon. So like that sort of thing, that was my test, and I tried to work hard at it, man, and just keep pushing and keep pushing. And I mean, I got to the point where I felt honestly, after 10 days, man, I felt pretty good. Like my only hiccup was, well, not even hiccup. It was like I still slept with the oxygen, and around the house and doing those things, I was good. However, went back to work. Boss told me to take it easy. You know, yeah. When does Ruben ever take anything easy? Never. So I
have we
went. What you say?
have we met?
I mean, yeah. So I went to 2 stores that day, and the hardest thing, honestly, is for me not to rush. I take my time, just getting out of the car. Like literally, I would get out the car. I had to stand up for probably like a minute, 2 minutes to catch my breath. Um, and that's when I knew that I wasn't completely over it. But once again, I don't have an oxygen tank with me because that's not how I roll. And
Right.
and I had to keep a good face.
Right.
So, but yeah, everything's still in effect, mask, whole thing, probably even more now. Um, but yeah, it was, you can't, what they say, you can't let them see you sweat, bruh,
you you embrace that mentality.
all day. And,
So
and yeah.
so now, as we move into the middle towards the end of March, I'm hearkening back to something that you said earlier in our chat here
Mhm.
on the 5 minute warning. You mentioned that you became eligible for the vaccine in late March.
Yes.
So, talk to me a little bit about that. How did you find out that you are now eligible after you've already had your battle? Did you end up getting it? Talk to us now about the vaccine.
Okay. Well, right before the vaccine, so like my doctor had told me not to get retested. And I was like, why? Because at the time, I wasn't sure if my company would require me to get tested to show that I'm not COVID anymore. And she was like, well, the antibodies are probably still in your system. It could be a month. So don't get tested. You get a false positive. And then at that point in time, if I'd have got a second positive after being out for a couple weeks, then they kind of have to do something with me. My company would literally have to do something with me at that point in time.
Right.
So I decided not to get the test, and and my company didn't require the second test to prove that I was good. But pretty much me and the boss, we talked about it. It's like, just take it easy. And after the first couple of times that I went through that, I was able to balance myself. So I took it easy. I just planned my stuff a little better.
Right.
Um, but when I found out, Rite Aid, I was like, because at that point in time, I was looking like, you could get it. That's when the vaccine was out, and I guess read some on CNN or something, heard some on CNN that the second wave could go. So I literally like every day went to Rite Aid, went to Walgreens, went to wherever, whoever was giving vaccines, I would check and see if I was eligible. And one day they had some. It wasn't the fact I wasn't eligible. It was the fact that they didn't have any appointments. So I got my appointment and, I went and got my first shot. Whatever, man. At that point in time, I've been shot so much. I mean, I still don't like needles, but I didn't even care at that moment. Gave me my first shot, left arm. It hurt like a bitch for like a half a day. But no, I didn't have any issues other than that.
Right.
Then 3 weeks, at that time was 3 weeks after.
Which one did you get?
I got the Pfizer.
Okay.
They were giving the Pfizer. I was like, whatever. I mean, just give me something. And this is before the Johnson & Johnson was available. Which I think at one point I wanted to get that, but I'm kind of glad I didn't after the craziness that happened with that.
No,
but
the people got sick, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have any side effects off it. 3 weeks later, I get my second shot, and one of my coworkers was like, "Hey, drink a lot of water before you get that shot."
Yes,
because
yep.
That second shot was putting people down, man. Like, because like one of my brothers got his second shot, he was like, "Yo, I was like on the couch for 6 hours," and I was like, "Bruh, I can't do that. I lived on this couch already." So, like, so yeah, I'm about to go back. So I drank 32 ounces of water before I took my shot, before I walked in. And then I had 32 ounces of water ready for me when I got back in the car. No issues. 0 issues. Not even in pain. She gave it to me in the other arm. She was like, "Which arm?" I was like, "Does it matter?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Give it the other arm. Why not?" Because I think I had my diabetes blood thing in this arm, and I just didn't really want to get another shot. I already had something in that arm, so
yeah.
So yeah, man, I got my second shot, and I'm beautiful.
As you moved after March, so we're now obviously in 2021, and we're moving into the late spring and early summer. Did you find that you moved any differently than you had moved prior to you going to the doctor for the hospital for food poisoning and actually contracting it? Like, did your habits, because you obviously knew how you got it.
Yeah.
No, you knew how you got it. So once you realized that, I got this shot, I've already had COVID, did you move different?
I moved the same, but I would say after a certain amount of time had passed, I was able to talk about my truth to some people, because I have friends and stuff like that who are not really about the vaccine and all that stuff. And my thoughts, I have my own thoughts on that. And I was like, look, man, you do what you want to do. But here's the thing. If you don't get the vaccine, then I expect you to wear a mask everywhere. Not for at this point in time, not for other people, for yourself. Because there are way too many pretenders out here who don't have the vaccine and running around like it's 1999. Excuse me, 2019. Nah, bruh. Like, and you have that, and and then like this show, I wanted to do this because there's some people there are a lot of people who still either don't know anybody who had COVID or hasn't had anybody pass away. So they're not necessarily affected because I don't think I had anybody pass away. And I don't really think I might have had one person I know. I did have one person, a friend of mine, got COVID, and he got that joint bad. Like, he got it, and he was down for like a month, and it took him another month and a half to fully recover. So, like, it kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
And, so with that, and I reached out to him when I got it, and we talked and kind of see what he was going through, what he went through and stuff like that. And, it's just, you do what you got to do for you. And I get that. But I just don't need these pretenders out here who, yeah, I got my vaccine. You ain't got your vaccine. Wear a damn mask. I mean, it's for real.
it shouldn't be hard, Ruben. It's been made to be hard, and that leads me, as we get towards the end of our conversation here. I want to kind of get a couple of final questions in, and
Mhm.
one of them is how, after having been through the whole experience of COVID and being hospitalized, and then coming out and still getting your vaccine, you obviously know firsthand the seriousness of COVID-19. How do you feel when you see people who don't seem to take it serious? And this is where I lump in different types of mentalities. I'm lumping in the anti-vaxxers. I'm lumping in the conspiracy theorists, and I'm lumping in people who don't think the children should be wearing masks in schools. How do you respond to those types of people and that mentality as someone who's been through the experience in the worst way? Well, not the worst way, as in, obviously you're here, but you know what I mean.
So my first thought is I'm glad I don't know most of those people, um, because I can't be around that kind of stupidity. Um, you know, you believe what you see on TV or what you read, yet you don't believe in this. And I'm just like, look, man, by the time I got it, over 5 million people had gotten this vaccine. So even if I felt like that, this thing is whatever, yo, man, 5 million people got the vaccine. Out of those 5 million people, maybe 1,000 or two died because of it. But it's like, yo, percentages, that's so low. And then it's probably something else. Like, I just feel like if that's what you're basing your opinion on, you either haven't done A, not enough research, or B, you're completely listening to the wrong stuff. I mean, I just it is it is not even about it's not it's not even about protecting other people. How about protect yourself? Like, that's my only thing.
Yeah.
You eat crap you eat stuff from, fast food joints. You eat stuff from the grocery store. Yo, man, unless you grew it yourself and you prepared it yourself and you know there's nothing extra in it, you can't read half the stuff on a label. Much let's talk about, I don't know what's in that.
Right.
Bro, you don't know what's in your milk. So it's like, I mean, for those people, look, man, I get it. You need to have a platform. You need to have an opinion. Awesome. You can have your opinion, but keep your opinion to yourself and don't mess up my life with it, because when it's all said and done, if you don't get it, that's great. But if I'm surviving and I grow a tail out my butt because I took the vaccine, I'm still here. That with a tail that
Yeah.
might actually be kind of cool. As
Yeah.
long as it's not like the small furry joint, because you can't do shit with that.
Right.
But I mean, if it's something I can wrap around a tree and swing from the, man, that's dope. I mean,
You be a whole celebrity amongst your friends.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, but yeah, man, like I can't tell people what to do, but what
Right.
I can do is tell my story. And hey, look, I mean, just because you don't think it can happen to you, just because you do every precaution ever, it can still happen to you.
Yeah.
And it happened to me, and I'm not anal retentive at all. But I made sure that I protected myself as best as possible.
Yeah.
My biggest blessing is that I literally was around no one from like literally from a couple days before I went to the hospital that Friday, and nobody that weekend. Like, I didn't give it to anybody. So for me, that's not weighing on my heart.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about if you've endangered a loved one. As we get towards the end here, Ruben, here on the 5 minute warning with your show, Big Rule, and I am your special guest, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about this. We are in the 6 month range from when, or almost 6 months from when you contracted and you went through your experience. So, how are you doing now? Do you have any long term symptoms or issues from having battled COVID-19?
Not as far as I know. My breathing's awesome. I started working out again, And if anything, I push myself a little harder. I'm not, because I kind of been punking out, but I'm working harder and stuff like that. It's honestly, this is gonna sound real stupid. I actually feel better than I was before. You
Doesn't
know,
sound stupid at all.
yeah, I lost 25 pounds, but the shitty thing about that is I watched all 25 pounds come back. So, but with that being said, it all came back to my stomach. It didn't go everywhere else. So at least I know where it resides. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, I got a nutritionist now, trying to get that part of my life done. I work out 3 to 4 days a week. I'm just, you know, this is like the second time I had a second chance, man.
Yeah,
So eventually, my 9 lives gonna run out. I need to start doing something so I can keep those other ones in check. So yeah, I've become a better person as
yeah,
far as loving me than I did when I went in.
right,
Because I mean, not to mention what it would do to my family and friends. I mean, what would it do to me if I had passed away and I'm not here? Like,
right,
I don't
right.
I don't know. I hope I go to heaven. You know, I don't know if I would be reincarnated into a turtle or something or another human being. Like, I don't know. And to be real with you, I'm not trying to find out anytime soon. So I'm trying to be on this planet for a minute,
Right.
and I still got. I'm 48 years, man. I'm trying to. If I can go another 48 more, that'd be awesome. But you know, I would say for me, nah, man. I'm 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 in good. I feel good. I don't have any issues. Apparently I got a mild source. I got a mild case, and I'm gonna take that to the bank because a lot of people they didn't get it, and their bodies handled it way worse. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I sit here and talk to you, we as brothers haven't had a lot of opportunity in the last few months to kick it, and I didn't know what you went through before we had this conversation tonight, and to hear it, I'm proud to say I'm your brother, and to know that you have gone through this and come out on this side of it with minimal recurring issues. I'm sad that you went through it, but I'm glad that you're on this side of it. That's a testament to your fight, and that you got so much more work to do here with us. And I'm glad that you're here to continue doing that work. If there was anything in your story that we didn't get to, that I didn't ask you about, that you wanted to share, here would be the time that you would do that as we begin to move towards our close.
I would say hospital food is not terrible to a point. Um, but when it's all said and done, on the serious tip, when it's all said and done, we got to take care of ourselves from the head to the floor, from the rooter to the tutor. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of our loved ones, and more importantly, just whatever you believe, it's fine for you to believe, but keep your beliefs. Like, believe you can believe it and believe it in yourself. Like, hey, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. Are you vaccinated? No, no, you should be wearing a mask. And I'm gonna wear a mask because you don't. I'm going to because I ain't got no issue wearing a mask, man. Even though I am vaccinated. I mean, don't do it. You know, if you feel that way, that's fine. But hey, there are a whole bunch of other people out here who may disagree with you or don't really want what you got or anything like that. So we're all blessed and we're all lucky sometimes, but there's a plan for all of us, regardless.
Yeah.
I'm not I would probably say I'm not a spiritual person. Doesn't mean I don't believe. It's just I'm not overly spiritual. But it's just one of those things where I do feel like our book has been written and somebody's reading our book and we're living it. And you know, you can live like that, that's fine. But you still gotta make sure that you are responsible for others. You can't just say, I don't need no stinking mask around a whole bunch of people who ain't been vaccinated and wear masks. Don't do that. Just keep your saliva and stuff to yourself.
Yeah,
That's what the mask is for. I mean,
that's what
get it.
that, that's what it's for. You know, the way I look at that, we people, not you and me, but just people in general, are very selfish and self-centered to think that their way is the only way when we can see that wearing masks and getting vaccinated has proven to be beneficial to us. Uh, People just want to be defiant, and unfortunately, that's part of how we move. I think that we would be prudent, those of us who know better, to do better and to wear our masks. And if we choose to be vaccinated, then we get vaccinated. But either way, wear a mask, because that way you can protect yourself as well as you can protect those folks that are around you. This thing's real. There are real people that we know and love that have suffered, have suffered in a minor way, have suffered in a semi-minor way, have suffered to the point where they've been hospitalized, intubated, and ultimately some who are no longer here. And we should be respectful of that. We should honor that. And I think that we should wear our mask to protect ourselves and to protect other folks, because we can be as conscious and as cautious as we think we are and still come away with the COVID-19 virus. And some folks who did everything right ended up with it and had a bad outcome. So if long as you can have a few cases like that, I think it would be prudent for us to take proper precautions. I am Marcus J. You are watching the 5 Minute Warning with Big Rube, and as the special guest tonight, I am given the ultimate gift and honor of speaking with my brother, your brother, the host of this show. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity, Ruben, to do this. It was good to be with you. It's good to see you. I love you. You know these things. To your listeners, I appreciate the opportunity to have been here again. It's not my first time, and hopefully it won't be my last. Big Ruben and I are co-founders of Legacy Internet Radio, the internet radio station that I still lead. I host my own show. It's called Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, and we are live on legacyinternetradio.com, as well as on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. If you are to search Legacy Internet Radio in either of those entities, you will find our show every single Monday night from 7 p.m. until we finish Eastern Standard Time, and all our archives are available on our YouTube Live pages. So thank you, Big Rube. I will now relinquish your show back to you so that you can close us out, but it's been my honor and my pleasure to be with you and your listeners and your viewers here tonight.
Marcus A., thank you for doing this. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while. And one of the people who listen to the podcast and to the live show sent a message to our website, www.5minutewarning.com, all spelled out, and sent a message asking to do something like this because he listened to the show, and he like I said, I've talked a little bit about it on the show. So I appreciate him for sending it. Yeah, man, I appreciate you for doing this, and we'll be back Sunday, 9 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for listening. Whether you listen live or you'll listen once it gets on the podcast website. Marcus J., once again, thank you. Definitely go to legacyinternetradio.com. Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. That shit was super awesome. And, I don't know what else to say, but thank you, brother. I love you as well. Everybody, thank you. We out. See you when we see you.
You can send any questions or comments to FIVE Minute Warning 19 5minute5minute@gmail.com.
The 5-Minute Warning can now be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Breaker, Google Podcast, and Radio Public. Share, like, subscribe.
You've been listening to the 5-Minute Warning with Ruben Brown. Search 5-Minute Warning on the Spotify app. Peace.
Stay safe out there.